Hello, Louisville. Guess who's coming to dinner? Hello, Louisville. Welcome back to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Today we have a very special guest. We thought it was very important that he be a part of the show. We wanted him last week, but we're going to have him this week. He was to be here for Veterans Day, and we're just going to extend Veterans Day so that we can introduce to some, present to others, Mr. Shedrick J Jones Sr, the Regional Number 6 Commander of the National Association of Black Veterans. Welcome, Shedrick.
Hello, thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad we got this together because I know that you had some things that you wanted to talk about, and this was an interview that had to happen.
Well, I'm in a lot better spirits now that the election's over with.
Oh, Lord, please.
Um,
Let me tell you, I didn't know I had so much anxiety about all that mess. But we're gonna move on through. We got a new battle in front of us.
Yep.
Just a brand new battle. So first, Shedrick, tell the audience about what the organization is, why it was started, and what its mission is.
The National Association for Black Veterans was started in 1969, which means we have just completed our 50th year anniversary. At the time, African Americans, Black and Brown veterans were not allowed to join the American Legion, VFW, those organizations.
Jackie, you're making noise.
6 veterans felt that they needed some kind of organization to have a voice, to be recognized in this country by the government. And the Department of Defense certified the organization. It started growing. And when Bill Clinton came in, he put the official stamp on it. And we started spreading. 2 problems. Number one, they started it kind of like a fraternity or a sorority group, which means they did not require from the federal government any kind of budget or anything to market and grow with.
Okay. Yeah.
And they tried to do it on their own. Well, because of who they were, they didn't want to have a watering hole like a clubhouse or anything, because a lot of those guys had spiritual and religious ties. That was kind of a handicap because they couldn't generate resources the way everybody else could. That has really held the organization back. And I think in the name National Association for Black, if you can imagine 1969 and the 70s, when you say black, you were through talking.
Yeah, pretty much.
The pockets in the corporate community and whatever else, when you said black, you were saying militant, and you were saying a lot of other things. NABES has never been able to bridge the gap and cross over from that particular thing. Just in the last year, before Black Lives Matter movement started,
right,
I've still had corporate level people, including people of color, say to me that, have you ever thought about changing your name? And I said, well,
really, they meant, have you ever thought about taking black out of it, huh?
Yes. They want to know, have you ever thought about taking black out of the name of the organization? I said, well, that's amazing. The NAACP hasn't changed their name. So what are you getting at? And they just said, well, on a more recent thing, when we were in the process of generating funds to put the flag memorial at the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage,
Right.
at least five corporations turned us down because they didn't feel that the center and or our organization was a good match for
For
their
their organization.
investors or their clientele. And those are organizations that have offices and does business in the West End. Okay.
Okay.
So the problem is this. When I came here in 1966, I had just come off of tours in the Far East, and I really wasn't a very happy camper myself. So,
You
fortunately,
when you moved to Louisville?
in May of 1966, I,
Okay. So where are you from originally?
I'm originally from the Bayou country of Louisiana.
All right. All right.
And,
Oh,
and when I
hence
say when
hence
I
the
say
the Cajun food
I'm
restaurant.
I'm a Cajun to the bone, okay,
Okay.
uh, we talking about third world USA, no running water, no electricity, no any of that.
Okay.
So being exposed to the civil rights agenda along the coastline in Louisiana and Texas, it blessed me to be able to meet and be able to spend some time in the presence of Dr. King.
Ah, okay.
My pastor was a very good friend of Dr. King,
Okay.
and it gave me the curiosity to say, well, if things is not right, maybe we ought to see if we can't do something and talk to somebody and change this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That really wasn't a good thing to do in the 60s, but it helped me to become educated.
Okay.
Going to college on a swimming scholarship was just a shock to the system. If you can imagine going to a swim meet as a black kid at the college university level,
Mm-hmm.
even the cab drivers and African Americans that had jobs around the campuses, they looked at me funny because they thought I should have been carrying the bags for other people. They had no idea that there were blacks in the 60s competing at that level, trying to get to the Olympics. The uh, idea that today we would still have some underlying obstacles and some of the same thoughts and the same idiotic approaches to life. We are talking about a modern day plantation.
Mm-hmm.
And the plantation doesn't care who run it. It doesn't care what your race is or whatever. If you have a structure where you are capitalizing yourself off of the backs of somebody else without providing proper growth and enhancement to them,
Mm-hmm.
that is a plantation.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, that's
Pretty
all they.
much.
Yeah. So we have some not white plantation owners and quote masters in this community.
Okay.
So all of our problems is not completely racial. Bigger part of our problem, a lot of it has to do with class or supposed class structure.
Okay. I get you. I feel where you want.
I
Okay.
mean, you have some things that break through that skills, professional skills on the entertainment arena breaks through that, because you have so few people that have skill set like you have. Okay, there's only one. There's only one of you. Okay,
True,
so
true that.
somebody else can say that. Oh, I know somebody that can sing. Yes, there is, but there's a uniqueness to talent, and that stops people from approaching that. But there is still a lot of inner city division within our races. I have no problems with uh, non-black and brown folks having an attitude. You can have all the attitude you want to. I mean, that's it. But that is not a born problem. That is a taught situation.
Okay,
Okay. So
okay.
I don't have to like you too, but I don't have to hate you, and I don't have to spend my time trying to hold you back.
You know, it's really funny, Shedrick. You're one of the first people that have thought to go a little deeper than just racism that exists between races, and um, and not delve into um, the classism that we deal with within our own race against our own people. True that? What?
I have, when I came here in 66, I took my family to the Holiday Inn
Hmm.
down on 2nd or 3rd Street. And because I had two or three contacts here already, I had a chance to meet and be in the presence of people like Oliver Buckner, for example.
Ah,
Mr. Buckner's house on the Parkway was the first house that me and my wife and son lived in.
okay.
And his thing was, well, he was involved with NARAB on a national
Real
level.
estate, right?
And he
Okay.
said, I'm
Yeah.
not in town very often. He said, if you all would be willing to look after my house for me, we could get you out of that hotel and put you in a better setting, and it would help me because I'd make sure that my household and everything was taken care of.
Right.
Okay. So now here is a very welcoming situation and an invitation
Wow. Opened his arms up to you and your family.
through Oliver Buckner. I had a
Right.
chance to meet Mr. Porter Sr., Judge Show,
So, yeah.
Dr. Young, and some other people, and a lot of influential white folks like Mr. Frazier,
Okay.
okay, Miss Bick, the owner of Shively Sporting Goods out in Shively,
Okay.
and people like Reverend Summers, okay, who gave me a lot of wisdom. Also, Senator Neal, okay.
Okay.
Senator, I was introduced to Senator Neal because I had a very short fuse. And if someone stepped on my foot or said something, I mean, I really was just coming off of my military thing and I wasn't totally acclimated yet to the corporate community and the calmness of the Louisville community yet.
Right.
So Dr. Young and Mr. Porter and them felt like they need to connect me with somebody in the legal community in case I needed help. And as it as it turned
You
out,
might need a little help at some point or another. Okay.
I really did. And the senator performed his magic and got me out of a couple of scrapes. And because of that, believe it or not, two of the judges at the courthouse felt like they knew where I came from and they heard the situation. So they didn't drop the hammer down on me. They gave me some time to back off and make things, quote, be handled in a professional manner.
Yeah.
Being able to navigate your way through the system, being able to be a part of the fight against merger the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had a chance to meet the Daryl Owens and Reggie and Smudge Martin and Lenny Lyles and Joe Hamilton. Okay.
The
So
players.
the Joe Farm Room and people like Phil Patterson.
Yeah.
You know, here's a
Yeah.
guy.
I know Phil.
Well, and this whole military veteran thing was these guys were veterans. Okay. How many people around remember what Daryl Owens' military career was like?
Oh wow.
Okay.
Mm, mm,
Daryl was a commissioned officer in the military. A lot
wow.
of people don't realize that. Okay.
I didn't
And
know it.
oh, yes, ma'am.
And he
Yes,
was my
indeed.
neighbor. I mean,
Well,
I know Daryl as state representative, you know, but I didn't know he about his military service.
served very proudly. And I got that piece of information from Phil Patterson.
Wow.
Okay. So there's a
Well,
number of people.
sometimes it sounds like you've got um that reservoir of information in this area about some of the veterans in this city that uh, probably don't ever get acknowledged for their service.
Yes,
Some
ma'am.
people may not know unless they are closely related to them about their service. You know,
We had two people serving at the head of this city, both of whom are military veterans, and that's Jerry Abelson and Bill Summers.
okay,
Both of those are military veterans.
wow,
Jerry Abelson, as a non-commissioned officer in the military, is the most successful enlisted military veteran in the history of this state because he had a chance to serve with the president in Washington, D.C.
right,
Okay.
right,
So when
right.
you look at the success that they've had, it's not about how much rank they accumulated in the military. It's about what they was able to accomplish after they left the military.
Mm.